Well, so the Pittsburgh Steelers just lost to the Indianapolis Colts, final score being 30-13, and the Steelers offense once again couldn't do anything. The defense once again couldn't stop anything, and the Steelers lose this game. They lost their third consecutive game, and now their record drops to 7-7. They're 2 games shy of not having a winning record for the first time in Mike Tomlin's career, and also the Steelers, their playoff hopes are dwindling. They have basically no shot right now unless they win out and some other teams lose. They need a lot of help to make the playoffs because it was a close race. There's like 5 teams tied for the final wildcard spots. The Steelers lost, the Bengals won, the Colts won. So now they both leapfrog the Steelers, and the Steelers are out of it as of right now. And this was such an embarrassing loss. So before I get into all the stats and everything like that and recap the game, let me just tell you why it was embarrassing from my point of view. So the Steelers started this game with their offense doing good, their special teams doing good, and they were leading the game 13-0. They were up 13-0 at one point. And then the Colts, they scored 30 consecutive points. The Steelers did not put up 1 point since the 13-0 start, and they lost the game 13-30. And the offense was once again embarrassing. Their offensive performance, they basically only put up 1 touchdown because the other touchdown they put up, they got the ball on the 1-yard line, so they didn't earn it. And just looking at the plays that the offense runs, they run the exact same plays over and over and over again that they run in the previous games that just don't work. And they run the exact same plays over and over again in the same game that don't work. They run plays where Calvin Austin is the leading blocker. Yes, you don't even get Calvin Austin involved in the game at all, receiving the ball, running the ball, or whatever, but you have him as your leading blocker. That just doesn't make sense. You have the same run plays, you have the same pass plays, you do the same screen passes that don't work. They see that Jalen Warren is a clear better running back than Najee Harris, but Najee Harris just continues to play, continues to get no yardage, continues to be a slow runner, and obviously has that fumble where the Colts take over and score. And then you have Mitchell Trubisky, who cannot hit a pass for a lot of yards without having to overthrow the next play. He throws interceptions. He throws some plays down the field. He gives George Pickens a chance, which we all wanted, yet George Pickens doesn't come up with it. It leads to interception. Just overall, the offense has no momentum at all from the coaching staff calling plays to the players. And then moving over to the defensive side of the ball, the defense is not good. The defense only relies on splash plays. When those splash plays don't happen, this is what happens. The Steelers go on a 3-game losing streak. There's no splash plays, the Steelers lose the game. Yes, we've seen TJ Watt get 2 sacks at the beginning of the game, but then the defense did nothing. They just ran the ball all over us. We couldn't stop the run, couldn't stop the pass, and Gardner Minshew should have had more touchdowns if his players weren't dropping the balls. So that's why it's embarrassing from a defensive point of view. It's also embarrassing from a coaching staff, special teams. Mike Tomlin basically just waved the white flag, not kicking that 56-yard field goal with Chris Boswell, yet he wants to go for it on 4th and 10 on their own 30-yard line, the drive after. It makes no sense. The Steelers' scheme makes no sense. Their coaching staff makes no sense, and the players just aren't good. They have good players in terms of paper-wise, but they're just not putting anything up on the board, and the Steelers just lose an embarrassing game, and now they're out of the playoffs, and it looks like they may not even have a winning record for the first time in Tomlin's career. So that's just my rant on the Steelers game. I'll go way more in depth about certain situations during the week, doing some fill breakdowns and stuff like that, just talking about the game in general from one area point of view. I'll break it down during the week and talk about news that happens, because I'm sure there's me benchings, I'm sure there's me stuff talked about, so I'll cover that all. But for right now, let me just recap the game, give the stats for both teams on offense, defense, and special teams. So here it is. On offense for the Steelers, Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback, he completed 16 of 23 pass attempts for 169 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. He also added a rushing touchdown. Mason Rudolph came in the game the very last three minutes of the game, the final 2 drives, basically the last drive, because the last drive was just running out the clock. But Mason Rudolph, he completed 2 out of 3 passes for 3 yards, so he did nothing as well. Those two quarterbacks just aren't good. The Steelers quarterbacks in general just aren't good, but the scheme in general is just not good either, so I can't blame all both of them. Rushing attempts, Jaylen Warren, 10 carries, 40 yards, 4 yards per carry. Once again, Najee Harris outruns Jaylen Warren in terms of carry attempts, but still has less yards than him. 12 carries, 33 yards, 2.8 yards attempt. Mitchell Trubisky added 2 carries for 1 yards. Deontay Johnson leads the team in receiving with 4 receptions for 62 yards, which is 15.5 yards per reception. He also added in a touchdown on the game. George Pickens, he made some nice catches in terms of going to the ground to make the catch, but in terms of making that high point the ball catch, it led to an interception. But he had 3 receptions for 47 yards, 15.7 yards per reception. Jaylen Warren was used so much times in the screen pass game, which shouldn't be a thing because you're dumping the ball off to the running back so much times. That means your offense isn't really leading to anything down the field, and he's your only offense. And it's a good thing in terms of he's obviously able to get yards, and he's a good playmaker, but that means no one else is getting open down the field, and the quarterback has to dump off the ball. So he's doing a good job. He has 5 receptions, 28 yards, and it seems like he made some explosive plays, even though that yardage really just doesn't add up in terms of explosiveness. Allen Robinson, he had 3 receptions, 19 yards. Pat Freiermuth, 3 receptions, 16 yards. Looking at the defensive side of the ball, Elandon Roberts, he led the team in tackles. He had 8 tackles. And also Trenton Thompson was second with 5 tackles. DeMonte KZ, 4 tackles. Alex Highsmith, 4. Cameron Heyward, 3. And as you see, it goes down the list. TJ Watt and Larry Ogunjobi were the only 2 people on the team able to get sacks. Larry Ogunjobi got 1, and TJ Watt got 2. So that's the Steelers' defensive performance. Their safeties got injured, but I'll get more on that when we get some updates on the actual injury front with Minkah Fitzpatrick. I'll update you guys on that. But as of right now, they're looking at the Colts stats for the game. Gardner Minshew should have had way more touchdowns than just 3, but his players were dropping the ball, and he ended up with just 3. He completed 18 of 28 pass attempts, 215 yards. The Colts' running attack was really good on the day. Trey Sermon, 17 carries, 88 yards, 5.2 yards per carry. Goodson, 11 carries, 69 yards. Zach Moss, who played early on in the game before getting injured, had 4 carries for 13 yards, and he also added a receiving touchdown. So, receiving the ball in the day, even though Michael Pittman only played like the first couple series before going out with a concussion, he had 4 receptions and led the team in receiving on the day for 78 yards. And Montgomery, 2 receptions, 48 yards, added a touchdown. Mo Alley-Cox with 2 receptions, 21 yards and a touchdown. And like I said, Moss had his touchdown, 3 receptions for 20 yards before he got injured as well. Looking at the defense was able to contain the Steelers all day in terms of offense because they only scored basically that 1 touchdown, and the other one, their special teams put them in a bad position with the block punt. But EJ Speed, he led the team with 9 tackles on the day, and the sacks for the Colts added up late towards the end of the game with Ogunjobi with 1.5, and then later on in the game, Ibukam with 1.5 as well. I probably said both their names wrong, but that's my bad. So that's what the Colts defense looked like, the Colts offense looked like, and the game stats in general. As I said, I'll go more in depth breaking down the game and talking about stuff that happens during the week, but this is just a recap of the Steelers game and this embarrassing game for the Steelers for the 3rd week in a row, and just embarrassing season in general for the offense, and the defense is embarrassing as well unless they get splash plays. The offensive coaching is bad. Everything all around for this team, for the Steelers right now, is really bad. From coaching to the players on the field to just everything in general. But that's the end of this video. Let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about this game? Give me your rants in the comments below. I'm sure you have many takes on this game from an offense perspective, from a defensive perspective, and just talking about the coaching staff in general, and Mike Tomlin kind of waving the white flag at the very end, and just the offense, defense, the coaching, just not looking in sync and not knowing what they're doing on the field at all. So, don't forget to turn on notifications for the channel as well, so you get notified whenever I post the next video, and you can see the next videos, the updates from the injuries to what Mike Tomlin has to say, from many players voicing their frustration, and just a film breakdown of what went wrong for the Steelers in this game. Turn on notifications for the channel, like, comment, and subscribe this video. And with that being said, I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.